Hello everyone, thanks for watching. In this video I've spent 10 days in Eddy in northern Michigan doing some deer hunting with my two boys, Pierce and Griffin. So the video is going to be a culmination of two separate trips. I took Griffin for 5 days at the end of October, and I took Pierce for 5 days at the beginning of November, just before rifle season. So I want to show you how a travel trailer with a wood stove in it can make for a very comfortable hunt camp, and it's a great way to spend time with my sons. I hope you enjoy it. Let's get camp set up and I'll bring you along. So the plan tonight was for both of us to go bow hunting. This is Griff's first night deer hunting on his own in his own stand with my crossbow. Griffin's a really responsible young man, but as a dad, still pretty stressful, so I couldn't resist walking him out to his tree stand to make sure that he had everything set up, safety harness, pulling the crossbow up, setting it up. We went over practice unloading it, all the scenarios that can go wrong, because if you ever bow hunted, something will always go wrong, especially when you're new starting out. So by the time I got back to camp, I realized there was just no point in me going out tonight. So I decided to get a fire going, and the weather changed and it's raining out. So so much for the fire. So now I'm pacing around waiting for Griff to get back. So he doesn't have cell reception, so if he doesn't come back at a certain time, I'm going out in the rain to go look for him. I'm sure he's going to be fine, but as you can imagine, it's a little stressful waiting for him first time, right? So I heard the truck and I see the lights coming, so he is on his way, which makes me feel a lot better. I'm guessing he probably didn't have much luck, but that's how hunting goes. So first night successful, he's back, and we're gonna have dinner. And really, I'm not gonna film a whole lot. We're just gonna get set up for tonight. Trailer's a bit of a mess behind the camera here, so we're gonna get set up, and then we're gonna be both hunting first thing in the morning. So we'll see you in the morning. It's my first sit this morning, and a nice buck just came in. I didn't even set my camera up on my bow like I normally do. It was the first morning I've ever actually hunted here, and wasn't really optimistic, but a buck came in, and that's a nice sign. It sounded like a solid hit, so these leaves are going to be tough to track with. But the arrows, that's a good sign. So I'm probably gonna go back and get Griff and then go track him. First time here. Oh, closed the deal on the buck, so I just gotta find him now. So after I shot the buck, I got down, I noticed my arrow was completely covered in blood, which was a good sign. It sounded like a good hit, and after about 30 minutes I started to see if I could find a blood trail. I saw where the buck went, but I never saw him go down, so I was able to eventually track him and find him. And then I just left everything as is, and I went to go get Griff. So it's about an hour later, and I want to see if Griff can track the buck on his own. Okay, you're on the right track. turn. I can see him from here. Bad, eh?
Bad at all.
So a pretty successful morning. Griff and I were hunting. Griff was in his stand, I was in mine. I was lucky enough to have this nice healthy 6-pointer come by, and I made a nice shot at 30 yards. So I'm pretty happy with it because I haven't shot a buck in a few years. What makes this special and what makes this a trophy, even though it's just a modest deer, is that Griff and I get to experience this together. So yeah, we're gonna field dress this deer, get it back to Eddie. So I can cook like this, and what I do, obviously I'm using propane. So I open this window and I turn the max air fan so that it's blowing air into the trailer, and in theory it's going to be pushing the fumes out this way. My long-term plan, as you can see this is very much under construction, is that the shower is going to need an exhaust fan. So the shower is going to have an exhaust fan here. The door to the shower is going to be a solid door. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this wiring here is safe, by the way. It just, maybe it looks messy, but there's going to be a vent here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have a vent here so that when I'm cooking, if I'm cooking here in the kitchen, I can run the max air fan, and in theory it will exhaust from this area, suck the fumes from this area through the vent and out the max air fan. So that's my theory, and pretty sure that it'll work fine. So I'm just going to take my recovery gear, wrap it around the base of the trunk, and then just put it on my tow hook and try to pull it kind of out of the way so that I can use this campsite later. So I realize now that I've hunted this area enough times now, you got to get away from the easily accessible areas that you can drive a truck to, right? So Pierce has been using the Grizzly. He's been getting to a spot kind of through a big gully that you can't get a truck through, and I'm going to be using the e-bike and I'm going to be getting to a spot that, once again, you can't, you can get an ATV through, but generally not vehicles. So I'm just going to unload my e-bike, get that ready, show you how I'm going to put my bow on and my gear, and go from there. So I get this heavy duty strap that fits right in here. It's a nice solid connection, so that holds it back from falling into the trailer, and then other straps around here and around there. So this is my bag. Just strap my compound bow across it. This is my nighttime helmet that I use for mountain bike races in obviously in the dark. It's got a really strong LED light that has an external battery. So on my way back 6 kilometers in the dark down ATV trails, I'm gonna need it, right? So just to make it easier though, I'm gonna wear it on the ride there. I just put this thing in my pocket. So I'm on to the second battery in this bike. So the second battery is in the tube here. So it has this goofy cord, which I don't like, but gives you the option of having 2 batteries, I guess. You don't want to drop this thing on you because it is loaded up and it's heavy. But it's in sport mode, which is like a motorcycle. And now I hit the throttle and I'm out of here. There you go. Not exactly what it was designed for, but it works pretty good. I can see some coming through the swamp right now. Just making them splash in the water. We had about 4 does come through, a little small buck. It's fun to watch first thing in the morning. That's a good sign. So I just got back from my tree stand. No luck for me this morning, but we're gonna get the charcoal grill out, and I have some backstraps from a deer that I shot when I was hunting with Griffin. And Pierce and I are gonna enjoy the fruits of that labor. And we're gonna sit back, have a nice big lunch, get comfortable, and go do it all again tonight. So we sauteed some onions and mushrooms, fried up some potatoes, and we're going to grill some backstraps over some charcoal. Well, I haven't used a charcoal barbecue in a while. Turned out pretty good. I was a little stressed there for a little bit. I fried some onions and mushrooms, and then we're gonna do potatoes separately. It turned into like a onion mushroom mashed potato, but still pretty tasty. So after traveling with Eddie down a lot of remote logging roads where you just can't turn around, I realized how important a chainsaw is. And then the one thing that could go wrong, it could really screw up a trip for me, is that if I got the bar pinched in a tree. And for example, last spring we were in a remote spot in central Ontario, came across a downed pine. It was a good sized tree, and I was able to you know, cut it, and we winched it out of the way. There's just so many things that can go wrong in so many different ways. So then I realized really to solve it is just such a simple thing. I bought a replacement bar and some chains, and I'm just using the new chain today. This is the same bar, but the chains make a huge difference. So I'm going to still try to hone my skills on sharpening my own chains, but I got a lot of work to do considering I just put a new one on and how it was nowhere near what I was using with the one I sharpened. So got a lot of work to do in that department. And then the bar with this DeWalt, I think most chainsaws are like this, but this DeWalt, you just you don't need any tools. You can just twist it off, and the bar comes off, and it also makes it better for storing it. So I found that I have a tote for it now where I can put all my chainsaw stuff in there, and it's just a lot easier to store. It doesn't take up as much room. So that's my latest setup with my chainsaw, always kind of trying to fine-tune my gear. I think I've settled into my chainsaw situation now where it's all in the tote, safety gear, the chaps, the head gear, and everything else. So I'm pretty happy with that. And now I'm going to bust up this firewood and have a fire. It's November, Woodstove weather. Absolutely love it. That's where we are. That's that's our campsite from outside. That's that big oak tree that I've been using for firewood. Pierce is out hunting. I just rolled my sleeping bag up because I'd like to be able to sit here and access this. Cabinets, everything's coming along. Really happy with it. It gets more comfortable all the time.
When you were coming around to see me, when you showed up, were you going to wait at the ATV, or were you going to like go right to the stand?
No, I was just
I wasn't gonna go right to the stand. Like, as long as if the ATV was there, I was gonna that's all I was gonna do. You start having these nightmares, like you flipped over the ATV or something, and you're stuck under, or I don't know, like so you wait till you're dead. So even those washouts, you get one set of tires in the water, one set on dry land. You don't know how deep that water is. So if suddenly there's a pothole there, it's going to flip you into the water, right? So you got to be super, super careful. Get as much onto the dry ground as you can. So I hope you enjoyed the video. That's it. Pierce and I are going to pack up and we're going to be out of here. As you're watching this video, I'll be on my next adventure, and we're getting close to winter camping. So if you haven't already done so, subscribe. Do a lot of winter camping in Eddy, and it's one of my favorite things to do. So thanks for watching. Cheers.